Hey, for Heart Shape Booty Day 14, I only have 2 drills to go through today because both of them have a lot of explanation and a lot of variations. So one of them is just a warm-up drill. It's the 90-90, and I'm just going to call it the starter 90-90 because there is way too much. You could spend a whole day on this. And then the exercise is the single leg Romanian deadlift, and there's a lot of variations within it, and not just the tiers. So we'll take some time, and you're welcome to play with the different options and try the different levels. The 90-90 though, the 90-90 is a mobility drill, or we're using it as a mobility drill that can be a lifetime journey. So unlike certain most other mobility drills where the intention is to have basically an immediate effect for the first part, so you do a specific mobility drill for a specific reason, a specific exercise, before the exercise you see the immediate improvements on that, and then over time, as you keep doing it, and the mobility is only a couple minutes long, you basically achieve the desired mobility that you need to do that exercise, and then you're done. Well, with the 90-90, with the bajillion ways in which you could use this, there kind of is no end. Okay, there's no end, and there kind of is no reason for most of us to actually have the mobility of this end of the 90-90 journey. But anything we're doing during the process, so whether you do it just once, whether you do it for an hour, whether you do it for 30 days and then you stop, whatever it is, there's a benefit during the process. And then if you do it consistently, you're going to get your permanent, basically your cold flexibility or cold mobility. But every step of the way, there's nothing wasted. Okay, so I'm going to show you just what I'm going to call the starter 90-90, because like I said, there's way too much going on with this. It could be a mobility, a hip mobility, working on external and internal rotation of the hips. It could be an active stretch. It could also be used as sort of an activator or pre-activation, a drill, a lot of things. We're going to focus on the main thing, which is hip mobility, and we're going to focus on just the main sort of sensations and principles and cues. So the 90-90 looks, it gets its name basically from the fact that you are in a position. Now I'm basically doing this fairly cold, right? Because I haven't done anything for a couple days here, but you basically are trying to get yourself into a 90-90 with both legs positioned like this, and the way you could check yourself is to have your arms at a 90-90, and if you chop it down, you would hit the knee and the knee, and then your knee to ankle would be a straight line. Okay, so this would be the basic position, and there's a zillion ways you could cheat this position. So right now I'm rocked out to the side. You want to be able to hold straight up and square and tall and engaged. Okay, so that is your basically position of the 90-90. How we then go through connecting with all the different areas and the movements here is a whole nother, like I said, journey. So but instead of just getting yourself in this position, we're going to start with what is your 90-90 transition. So in that case, we want to be in a very wide bear sit position. So just legs open as wide as you can with your feet sort of facing each other. So instead of the sort of the windshield wiper position or the 90 or the shin box positions where we have our feet more in the distance of a squat, okay, and we're kind of using a little bit of a rotation to go from side to side. This one is much more intentional, so we want to be wide here, and if you can't sit up straight, this is where you could have your yoga blocks to place your hands. Press your hands into the floor on the yoga blocks behind you to help you straighten up, because you really want to be straight through this whole process. Now, from here, the first principle is to basically consider the top half of your body, meaning like your waist up and your waist down, is two completely severed. The one has nothing to do with the other. Then we're also going to separate one hip from the other and try to make sure they move independently. Just do your best. So from here, in order to get into a 90-90, this facing you, it's going to be where I'm starting with the back leg, and again, trying to move that independently. Use the toes if you need to grip the floor and move that completely independently all the way down while keeping your sit bones down as much as possible. Get that leg into position before you then bring this leg into position, bring your body into position, okay? So that will be your transition. So as you do the same thing going on the other side, you want to move this hip as independently as possible, trying to keep both. I'm like 1% of the way there for all of this. But let's say we're in a 90-90 position. Again, if you need to cheat it, don't worry about it. You are where you're at. You can put your hand on the yoga block here. You can put, a yoga block underneath here, okay? Because what we want to do is have our sit bones planted on the floor. Every single thing here, point of contact with the floor, while we're remaining square, while we're keeping up, while we're keeping engaged. So from here, what you want to do, if you want to place your hand here is fine, or place it on the floor. You want to hinge forward just slightly. So this is not a static hold movement. We're not going to come down here and use gravity at all. In fact, we're going against gravity. We're going to be tall, engaged through your lower abs, really suck that in. And if you need to, place your hands on the floor or on your fingertips or on the blocks, and go ahead and hinge forward. As you're not going to feel, you should not feel anything going on with the knees. You can feel all sorts of sensations going on through here. Even if like things are going to rip and crap, it's okay. It's not going to happen. So just hold that sensation, and as you come forward here, okay, go only as far as you can still breathe normally. And then the test here is you're going to then take your hands off, engage through, power through fists, and engage your upper body, and then in that position, bring it up, all the while pressing this entire bottom leg on the floor. And if you want to get that sensation down pat, you could use a stick to press that down while you practice coming up, pressing my cramping back glute down on the floor. So basically, that's the main cues and sensations that you want to work on for the time being. All right, so going on to the single leg Romanian deadlift. I'll show you the exercises. I like to do it with the level of the kettlebell, and basically that is setting up with one foot in front, toes pointed straight ahead with the kettlebell right in front, and then the back leg is going to end up coming off single leg, and you're trying to work your standing leg glute. Now, as soon as you're in a one leg stance, you're going to be using the whole bottom of your foot to create that stability for yourself. So as you do some reps, if you feel some cramping around your foot, that's okay. If you are feeling way too shaky and you don't have the ankle stability, you could turn your toes in slightly inward, okay, versus outward. But here's the move. You're going to float that leg up, keep it extended. This leg will be, see, I'm going all over the place here. You could have this leg bent, okay, your head to tailbone in a straight line, engage your glutes, and then pick this kettlebell up and fire through your shoulders and come up. You'll feel that engagement through here. Keep that back leg extended and okay? And try to keep that one leg up all the time. Tap it down if you need to. This is not a quick exercise. This is not necessarily going to be easy. So the variations. For the starter level, I'm actually suggesting that you start with a regression. The regression doesn't mean that you're going backwards. It's just exercise speak. It's just giving you, giving everyone an opportunity to feel the benefits and get the benefits of the movement, even if you don't have the mobility and strength to do it, you know, on a different level. So that's starter level will be where you're actually starting with a reverse lunge. So if I'm working my front leg, I would start with the reverse lunge, and in the bottom position here, okay, whether you have your knees down or not, but you would end up extending that leg to lift off first, okay, and then come up and reset into that reverse lunge. The moderate level would be where you're doing the RDL with no weight. So you're just pointing your fingers to the floor. Same thing, you would lift one foot up, put all your weight from toes to heel, flat foot, basically your tripod foot stance, instead of just on the heel or the balls. Try to keep that stable foundation, and then as you float that leg back, you're going to have your back straight again, and reach down, tap down, and try to keep this leg extended. If you can't keep this leg extended and engaged, which will help fire your hamstrings as well for that hamstring glute tie-in, then you could worry more about the standing leg. Let the back leg do whatever it will, keep it bent, okay? But if you can, extend it. And then as you extend it, you want that extended leg to be, your hips to be square. So if you find that you've opened up on the hips like this, one of the ways you'll know is also if your toes kick out. So if your toes kick out, you want to bring the toes back in so that your torso and your hips are square. Okay, so first you're firing through your abs in order to do that. Now, one of the ways that you can help with that sensation of being square is to take a band, a long band, okay, and step through, basically step on the center, hook it on your shoulder, okay, and that's going to help keep that leg extended. So this is not about a strong tension in order to do any strength exercise with the band. It's just tension enough to cue your legs to remain straight, because once you do that, then you lose all the slack, right? So do it this way and keep everything engaged, and this is going to help you keep that, cue you to keep that straight. Then the step up level will be to do it with the kettlebell. Now, the other option to do this is, instead of having that bent leg, the standing leg, have a little bend in the knee, is to actually start and remain with a straight leg. So most of the time we stay away from having a locked knee, but the way you think of that is to fire through your quads, okay? So basically try to, if you fire through the quads, your kneecap will lift, and you want to keep that sensation the whole time. So this might feel awkward, it might feel different, you have a little bit more ways to go to tap down, okay? But it's it might help you actually with your foot stability. So play around with the different variations, okay? And if you do need to, you know, have something to hold on to, don't worry about it. Try it in all ways and you'll get there.